I'm telling you, these little hobos are posing as rich men. Be careful. I want to share this because one of my mutuals sent me this story so that I could tell y'all. And you know, when you get like swindled by these men, it's like really embarrassing to admit that, especially if you are, you know, an independent, successful, amazing woman who's super smart. And then they're so good, y'all. They're so good. You know, I talk about little hobosexual and how pretty much in my belief and in my experience, all men are on the hobo spectrum. Even rich men are hobos with money because it's a mindset. It's a, let me get as much out of this woman as I can. Let me be cheap with her and spend endless money on myself. Because whether he has money or he has no money, I'm telling you, they will always spend money on what they want or need, but usually just what they want, some form of escapism, while also like not paying their own bills. You know what I mean? Like, before I get into her story, my little hobo who ended up being abusive and almost me, he literally didn't have a place to live. He didn't have a driver's license. He didn't have anything, everything. Like he was like almost like a, you know, a little stick with a thing on it. Like, rode the rails for 9 years, never had money, but out of nowhere, he always had money for that and cigarettes and booze. And then randomly he'd buy cowboy boots, which I was like, what? I thought you were like a skater. What is this? He tried to buy a $250 kilt at a Renaissance fair, but couldn't afford money for the hotel or the gas or rent or anything that he was not paying because he was staying with me because I was not dumb, easily manipulated, unaware of how dangerous and terrifying this man was, and full of trauma responses. Anyway, so it is so embarrassing when you get swindled by these dudes, but now they're getting better. They're getting better at hiding their hoboism. Whether they are broke or have money, they all feel entitled and they're cheap and they extract anything they can from women and don't feel the least bit bad about it because entitlement is at the base of all of this, and that's what patriarchy taught them. Okay, so she sent this and I asked for permission, but obviously I'm keeping her anonymous. And by the way, I really love this woman's content. She's amazing. But what seems to happen is that, especially if women have been married or maybe or a late bloomer like I was, you know, just was not a part of this whole dating world, especially not the apps. And then when you enter this dating world, it's like, oh my God, what is this? I think this is one reason why women stay with terrible husbands, because they'd rather have this terrible man than have to go back out there and sort through garbage, hobo garbage. So I fell for so much crap because I had no idea how, they're not smart. They're good. They're street smart in terms of like, they know how to, they're so one step ahead of you and are so good at lying and are like always thinking of new ways to manipulate you, even if they're dumb as rocks. You know what I mean? So anyway, this is someone who's, entered the dating world after not being a part of it for a while. And this is the nonsense that she's running into. Also, caveat, a lot of women also after divorce or after a long period of celibacy, or like I was a late bloomer, I really was not interested in getting to a relationship to like get some experience dating again, get some experience hooking up, just like see what it's like in this world. So don't assume that every woman who is dating is looking for marriage, especially if a woman has been married already. Those women are like, no thanks. I just want to, you know what I mean? See what's happened. To actually, not everyone is dating for marriage, nor should they. To each their own. I understand women who are not necessarily looking for something serious, because I wasn't looking for something serious and I ended up in something serious with a man who almost unalived me and his little hobo. So when you're not looking for something serious, these men will swindle you. So here we go. I'm working with this man right now that constantly tells me he's the prize. So that right there, clearly this dude's been listening to some podcasts. One of the many dumb podcasts by these bros. I don't even need to go into this. Y'all know my content. Told me we're casual. And like a lot of women, myself included, this is actually appealing to some of us. Some of us actually want casual because, again, and a lot of people don't understand this when I say it, a lot of women, myself included, for a long time, did not want to invest in a relationship, did not want to lose myself in a relationship, preferred casual stuff. The problem is I didn't know, I could keep it casual with some men and not with other men. I never knew which one I could do that with, which one I would catch feelings for, which one my trauma responses would be like, right? So I started to kind of have to like make a lot of rules for myself around how to be casual. I'll go into that in my Patreon, which is starting Wednesday. I'll let y'all know more information about when I launch that. Wednesday, May 1st. Yay! He won't probably date me until I've had 6 months of therapy. Imagine this audacity. Imagine a man, honestly, if this man were healthy, this would be not a bad thing. But how much you want to bet he's not doing that? Like, it's like men will like listen to everything women have been saying and use that against us. Because this is a great standard for a woman. Like, hey, have you ever gone to therapy? No? Okay, well, maybe I don't really want to date you. We'll reconsider after you've talked to someone. Of course, as we know, men will use therapy speak to literally manipulate us, so sometimes it's even worse when they go to therapy. But you get the point. Therapy is really work on yourself. People can go to therapy and not work on themselves at all. They pay someone like $200 an hour to just listen to them cry about their mom. So to me, it's not necessarily therapy, because you can have a terrible therapist that'll co-sign all the lies you tell yourself because of their own unhealed crap. And the therapy world is full of unhealed people. The idea, though, is literally self-improvement. Really dealing with your past, trying to be better as a person and in relationships. We all have room for growth for that. Every single person. And imagine this audacity. Because I promise you, this man is not doing that. Like, you go to therapy for 6 months and maybe I'll date you. But if he's not doing this, I promise you he's not doing this. I think she means he doesn't cash app women. Not sure what this one means. Pay for nails or hair. I actually let him come stay with me for 3 weeks. And I'm telling you, I would love to know how many women have not had this. I'm telling you, these men always have a reason that they need to stay with you. Some crisis or something. Oh, God, they always want to stay. Didn't ask him to pay. He didn't offer. Said that look at this. See, this is like, and I would be willing to bet that this man is so good at manipulating. When these kinds of things came out, it was after I call it clitorization. I'm never hypnotized. No man's can do that to me. But if they know what they're doing, you know what I mean? But like, dude, seriously, this man's been listening to some red pill. Always brags about the women that flirt with him. This is him trying to make her jealous. And it's so funny. Men would ever think that their like payment is having schmegs with you. As if women can't easily get laid anytime we want. These men are literally, one of the reasons why we have STDs is because men won't stop forking animals. Wait, we know they can't work for morgues. I did a video on all that because they don't stop forking dead people. I promise you, women could truly get laid anytime we want. Now, is that man safe? Is that man necessarily, are we attracted to him? You know what I mean? If we don't really care, it's the vetting that takes so long. Vetting these men. That's why it's not worth it. We can easily get laid, but the price we pay is the safety tax of, are you going to grape me or cut off my head and leave me in a refrigerator? That's a lot of work trying to see if this is that kind of man. And you never really know at the end of the day. So he's trying to make her jealous. He's probably lying. And also, just so you know, for those of us who either coming out of marriages, like who are divorced, or those of us who are late bloomers, or those of us who've always had bad schmegs, we don't even like... The little hobos are usually good. They actually usually are good. That's how I got into mine. He was so good at eating this. See this? Oh, it's got dog hair all over it. This is the little friend Claire made this. It's a keychain. This really good with this because their life depends on it. Their livelihood depends on knowing what to do with that. Can you feel all right? So that you like excuse all their bad behavior. I am telling you, please do not judge this woman. If you have ever been clitomatized, you know how easy it is to fall for this. That's why you can't just like willy-nilly hook up with dudes anymore because they're all hobos. And if they're really good in bed, then you'll convince yourself that it's love. I did. I was like, wow, I'm in love for the first time. No. Limerence, clitomatized, trauma responses, definitely not love. You can't see straight because these men are so good with their tongue. Constantly rating women on a 1 to 10. I promise you, this man was not doing this when they first met. This is the kind of stuff they do after they get you. So I left him today. Good for you. By the way, please do not write comments shaming or judging this person. They are a mutual of mine. I love their content. I care about them. And they asked me to share this to warn women. Because when y'all do that, you're also talking to me. Because I fell for this crap too. Because the reason why she's sharing this story and the reason why I share my story is so that the women who fall for this feel less shame. Because this is so embarrassing. When you fall for this, it's so embarrassing. And the reason why women are falling for it is because women aren't talking about it. They're too embarrassed to admit. So we keep it a secret. And by keeping it a secret, other women don't realize just how common this is. So please, you can share your story. You can, support and, you know what I mean? Don't just be like, she's blah, blah, blah. Don't do it. I'm going to erase that comment because by saying that's to my mutual, you're saying the same thing to me because I literally have lived the same thing, different details. And I guarantee you, most of the women who follow me have also done this. So by you saying this, either A, you've never experienced it, good for you, or B, you have experienced it, you haven't forgiven yourself yet, and you're projecting your own self-judgment and shame and hatred onto all of us. And I understand that instinct to do that. I did that a while ago because I hadn't forgiven myself. But keep that to yourself. Journal about it. But don't write that in my comments, please. Oh, look, he has rolled over. Now he is paying attention again. Something is wrong with these fools. Yes, it is. This is the point. This is what I really want to point out. He is a man that wears all designer clothes, has floor seats to all professional games. Y'all, you see what I mean? Don't assume these men are not gold diggers because they wear nice clothes and have floor seats. What, like, is he sitting down there with, like, Jack Nicholson at the freaking LA, whatever you call him? All right, that's the only reference. I'm pretty sure Jack Nicholson hasn't done that in a while. I don't even know if he's alive still. Pretty sure he is. You know what I mean? Like, that's expensive stuff. You would never think a hobo could afford that. Have y'all seen the Tinder swindler? These men are real. And literally one of my mutuals met one. He has all the toys, but I know he's broke. Again, he has all this stuff. It's hard to think these men are going to swindle you. But how much you want to bet? If you have not seen the Tinder swindler on Netflix, it is, I don't think people realize how common that is. Maybe not to that extent, but look at that. He paid for a private jet subscription. And he probably used someone else's money to do that. A woman's money. How much you want to bet? He's got like 4 or 5 women funding this stuff. And his payment to them is forking them. These men have it so back. We have what they want. And yet they have figured out a way to make us think they have what we want. Like, they've really done a number. This is what I'm telling you. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. They're dumb as rocks, but they are survivors, man. They're gonna hang on to this exploiting women thing as long as they can, and we have to stop falling for this. So he got that subscription just so he can record content on a jet plane. Imagine going to that length to lie to women. Do you know how much work that takes? That is, like, these men can be hard workers at lying, at deceiving. Imagine if you put all of that effort and drive and ambition and even, that's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. Imagine using that for good instead of evil. You know what I mean? They will work so hard to do nothing. He calls himself a pre-selected man. Oh, right? Like he's filtered himself. So again, I asked if I could share this. And she said that's why she sent it, and I'm fucking sick of these men. So again, the reason why I made this, I just want women to know, this is not a theory. This isn't a one-time thing like, oh, I had this crazy thing happen to me. This happens all the time. It literally just happened to one of my mutuals who is brilliant. And I would have never guessed it happened to her, but I would have never guessed this happened to me. So the more you think that you can't be swindled by these men, the more likely you're going to get swindled. Unless you literally grew up with no trauma. Your dad was amazing, but also taught you how awful men are and what to look out for. You didn't get, if you've somehow lived a life where you have no nervous system response, trauma responses, you didn't get too indoctrinated into patriarchy, and you have healthy people around, and you are also not victim of a random act of violence, because it could be someone, this could happen to you even if you're not dating. Well, it's more likely to happen to men that you know and date, though. So don't be so as worried about the boogeyman as about the men that you go on dates with and let in your home. But even those women, like, if you're one of those women, you are so lucky. But don't shame other women that this happens to, because I am telling you, based on the comments I get every day, hundreds of comments on my videos, and what my experiences of my mutual, and literally this experience that just happened this week from another mutual that I never would have guessed would happen to her. It happens more than you think. These hobos, they adapt. Someone left this comment yesterday in a video that her grandma said that all men pose as peacocks, beautiful feathers, and they're all just a bunch of turkeys. No shade to turkeys. I love turkeys. Gobble, gobble, gobble. But I love calling people turkeys. That's my southern coming out of me, I guess. Bunch of turkeys. Watch out. Don't believe anything these men say. Don't give them benefits of the doubt. And don't assume because they have fancy clothes, pictures of themselves on jets or whatever. Also, like, I don't want a man who's on a jet. What about your carbon footprint, bro? But any man, like men who have all these nice things, it seems like, oh, there's security. They couldn't possibly get that way if they were broke or, just what, no. No, don't assume any of these men are safe until proven otherwise. And that takes a while. This man was trying to fool her for months before she figured out who he is. And they don't start off with, I'm the prize. They don't start off with rating women. They don't start off saying these ridiculous things. They start off posing as these it put together, therapy, la, 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 la. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow! It's like Scooby-Doo, mask off. Uh-oh. Aha, sorry. Mask off. Oop, I'm a hobo. Right? Every single time the villain is a hobo. So, hobo! Be careful out there. Like, comment, share. Thank you for being here. And announcement soon about the Patreon launching on Wednesday.